Everybody wants financial and personal freedom, but as they say, it takes money to make money. So how do you create momentum when you're starting with absolutely zero? I recently got a call from a friend of mine who lives across the country from me. She was calling me specifically for some advice, and she knew what she wanted. She knew what it would take to get what she wanted. What she didn't have was the resources, and she didn't know where to get the resources. So I gave her some advice, and in this video, I'm gonna give the same advice to you. It is the same process that I used to free up my life. Hi, my name is Tyus. I make videos about personal freedom, living your freest life, escaping the rat race, and all that comes with it. If you've not subscribed yet to my channel, hit the subscribe button below, hit the bell so you'll get notified when new videos come out. And I made this specific video for you if you are somebody who's really starting out with nothing or feels like they don't have the resources they need to get what they want in life. If you feel the need to create some kind of momentum, or you're feeling stuck, or you are absolutely determined to create positive change in your life, you're the kind of person that this video is for. When most people feel stuck in their life, it usually comes from having a lack of resources. Those resources could be things like a sense of purpose, or time, relationships, knowledge, tools, skills, or money. A lot of people blame money for their current situations, thinking that with enough money, it would solve all their problems. But we know that money actually doesn't solve most people's problems. People that win the lottery usually end up unhappy and broke. So it's not necessarily the solution. And that's because you can't buy everything with money. Yes, you can buy tools. That might help you a bit, but as far as relationships are concerned, real relationships, you can't buy it. You can't buy time. You can't really buy knowledge. You can buy the book, but it's up to you to read it. So it's all about resources. And people who have a lot of resources also tend to be the people that are the most resourceful. They see opportunity everywhere. And I know specifically where I learned this lesson. Back in the day, I had a 9-to-5 job, and I was interviewing to get a promotion. And in that interview, they set me down and they asked me to solve some really complex problems that I honestly didn't know how to do. I had no idea how to solve them, and ultimately I didn't get the job. But the company was cool enough where afterwards, despite the fact that they turned me down, they had the people that interviewed me give me feedback on what I could have done better. And they asked me, what resources did you have available to help you solve those problems that you didn't solve? And I was like, immediately I thought, nothing. I had nothing around me. All that was in the room was me, a pen and paper, and that was it. And you guys across the table. And they're like, well, did you use the pen and paper? Which I didn't. And they said, did you ask any of us what we might have done with that problem? Or had we ever experienced that problem before? They were a resource in the room. The pen and paper were a resource in the room. And I had the resource of time while I was in that room. I missed all of the resources in front of me in solving the problem. And that really woke me up about being aware of all the resources you have at your disposal is what's going to make you resourceful. So let's dive into resources a bit. I double dog dare you to create a list of the resources you have. You can't say no to a double dog dare. I mean, those are unbreakable. So come up with a list of everything that you have that are your resources at your disposal. Your time, your relationships, your knowledge. Maybe you've got some special knowledge in like social media, or maybe you're an artist. Maybe you're super creative. Maybe you can do choreography. Maybe you know how to build something. Maybe you've got special tools or a computer or a phone or software that you have at your disposal, or just some special skills that other people don't all have. Now, if you heard that list and you're like, I don't have any of those things. Well, I know you have time. We all are given 24 hours a day. So I know you've got time. And if you have no other resource than time, then here's my advice to you. I advise you to trade that time for money in the form of a job. Go out, get a job. I know it sucks, especially when unemployment is paying so well. But here's the reason you should do that, besides getting money. It's really, really worth it to go out and get that job, because at that job, besides getting money, you're also going to meet people and you're going to learn skills. So by being at that job, you are going to be increasing your pool of resources, the things you have available at your disposal. When I first moved to Vegas, I desperately wanted to get involved in the entertainment scene here. I wanted to learn about that business, but I wasn't integrated into it and I didn't know anybody. One day I ran into a person that made props for a lot of Las Vegas shows, and I asked him on on the spot. I said, I will work for you for absolutely free. No money, no charge whatsoever. You tell me when you want me here and I will work here. And he's like, why would you ever do that? Why would you offer me that? And I said, because people are gonna come to you that I wanna be connected with. I wanna know your clientele. And so he did. He let me have that job, and I made those connections. And additionally, I learned how to build these props. And later on, when I got my own show, he gave me props for my show for free because I had helped him out for such a long time. But it helped me out as well. I gained more resources in that process. So step one is create a list of all the resources you have available to you, and make that list as big as possible, because I know you've got a lot more things than what first comes to mind. The next step in this process is to create a list of people that you know who need the resources you already have. You created a list of resources. Now we are going to connect that list of resources with a list of people that you know that need what you've got. I like lists. If you don't like lists, I might not be the best guy for you, but I love lists. So maybe you're great at social media. Maybe you've got a huge following online. Fantastic. Good for you. That's awesome. You know things that other people don't know. Do you know anybody who might want to increase their online following? Well, if you do, you've just connected the dots. But what happens if you don't know anyone? Well, then you need to go out and find some people and meet some people. And those might be people in business. They're gonna need things like time and energy from other people. They need employees. If it's a student, they're a person that might need knowledge. If it's an art gallery, they are going to need art and artists. Figure out what kinds of people you need in your life that would align to the resources you already have at your disposal. Now, up until this point, everything has been intellectual. We've just been writing down lists. Haven't had to do anything physical. Well, that changes right now. Now it's time to take step number 3, which is to go and meet those people. Now, this might mean just picking up a phone or inviting your friend out to have lunch or coffee with you, or tea. I like tea. If you come into town, you want to hang out with me, invite me out to tea. I'll say no to coffee, I'll say yes to tea. So if it's a person that you don't know, if this is somebody that you don't know yet, you got to figure out where they would hang out. So business owners hang out at their own businesses, or maybe the Chamber of Commerce, or mixers, or industry conventions. Students, I used that as an example earlier, they hang out at schools and libraries. Or a person that's deeply invested in learning, they might hang out on YouTube watching videos like the one you're watching right now, which, by the way, kudos for working on improving yourself. That's awesome. If you don't know where a person's gonna hang out, think of what that kind of person would be interested in. I would tell you this, productive people, they hang out at gyms crazy early in the morning. If you go to a gym at 4 a.m., you are going to find some incredibly productive people. Rich people, they often hang out at fundraisers. They've got so much money that they need to get rid of money to places that will reduce their tax rate. They basically have to give money to charities. So if you end up going to fundraisers, you are likely to meet really charitable rich people that have way too much money on their hands and are just trying to reduce their tax liability. Now, if you don't know what kind of people you need to meet up with, if you can't think of it, well, there's a thing called meetup groups. So you can look up interests that you have and find other people that have like interests to you. Whatever the case may be, you need to go out there and start making these connections. So once you've met these wonderful people, the next thing you need to do is you need to offer the resource that you have to them. And I would strongly recommend that you offer it to them for free. I know that sounds crazy. Why would you give them what you do well for free? Well, there's a few reasons for it. The first reason is that it's going to grow your skill set with it. If this is something that you don't do all the time and as a profession, then you probably need to grow your skill set, become more professional within that realm. And keep in mind, you're trying to essentially create momentum. This is not about trying to win everything right now. It's about trying to create a path forward. So when you start offering your services and people start taking you up on those services or skills or resources or whatever you have to offer, you're going to find other people that value what you do. When I started learning photography, I was offering it to all my friends for free. In the process, I got tons of referrals to other places and other people that wanted to get photography done. And so I ended up making a lot of money just by giving away my services before actually taking the professional gigs. And I'm glad I did that, because had I just shown up at the professional gigs, I probably wouldn't have been skilled enough. I definitely wouldn't have been experienced enough. And I probably would have either been overpriced or I would have been under-delivering what the client expected. But here's the real big important point here. People are reciprocal in nature. So when you start giving to other people, when you start contributing at a big level, they give back. And it might be money, but it might be other things. They might have other resources, skills, connections that they can offer you in exchange. And I'm not saying go out there and ask for those resources. You'll find that if you give enough to society, society comes right back on you and gives back to you. And that is how you create momentum. So let's recap this really simple process. It goes like this. List out all the resources you have at your disposal. And if you're having a hard time with that list, get your mindset into a place of resourcefulness. I know the list is going to be longer than what you might think initially. Then create a list of everybody you know or that you don't know that might need the resources that you have to offer. Finally, go out and meet those people and offer the resources you have and repeat. The beauty of this is that it makes you grow as a person. Your resources grow over time until those resources are supporting you, pushing you forward. Ultimately, this is the way of getting out of a rut. This is the way of creating that momentum and getting moving. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please hit the subscribe button, share it with people you care about, and I hope to see you on the next episode.